Alright guys, this is my 1992 Nissan 300ZX, and today we're going to be installing some AMS lightweight pulleys for the crank, the alternator, and the power steering pump, as well as the water pump. And that should hopefully reduce some weight, rev up a little bit quicker, make a little more power, and we'll go ahead and tackle this install. First, we got to jack up the car, pop the hood, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, so we got it jacked up in the air. Make sure to use a wheel chock in the back. Got it up on some blocks right now. So you gotta remove the fan shroud here. Mine was held in the zip tie, so I just went ahead and cut those. And I'm gonna try and pull it off without pulling this hose. So I'm gonna try and undo the clutch fan here, right there. They're 10 mils, there's 4 of them. And get a wrench in there and try and pop it off and see if I can take out the clutch fan and the shroud together. So we'll see how that goes. All right, now we're gonna try and get this thing out. Finally. Alright. Will this all pull out together? I feel like this should work. Alright, so it looks like we're gonna have to remove this hose out of the way. Couldn't quite get the shroud out with the fan, so we're gonna undo this clamp right here. Make sure you have something underneath to catch your coolant, and should be pretty good. Got this off. We're gonna try and get this thing on out of here. Might be a little bit of a challenge. Let's just see kind of how it goes. Okay. All right, got this out. Finagle it out of there. That's disgusting. That was gonna be just gross. And this here should now just kind of finagle its way out. Not a crazy tough job at all. Might spray this out or wipe this out with a paper towel just to clean it a little bit. Doesn't matter. Hopefully we're gonna switch it out with a electric fan and aftermarket shroud and radiator soon enough. So looking in here now, we might need to pull the radiator in order to pulley puller on the main crank pulley to get it out. Should be able to loosen it up from here. As you can see, no belt on my AC compressor or whatever it is. So we're gonna replace this pulley, this pulley here, which is the power steering, and the alternator pulley, which will be a bit interesting, but I think we can do it. We'll weigh the stock pulleys compared to the aftermarket pulleys as well, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Kind of figure it out as we go. This will just wobble off. Should loosen the tension up on these brackets and stuff, but overall don't think it'll be too bad, so we'll come back for the next step. Right now we're gonna try and take off the let's see, we're gonna do the power steering pulley and the alternator pulley, because I think the only real way to do that is to have the belts attached to provide some tension to prevent the whole thing from spinning, which may not even be enough. But the power steering pulley is going to be this right here, which is a 19. Have a little adapter on it for our breaker bar here. I got my dad out here to help with the power steering pulley. It was his idea to wedge a extension in one of the holes there, and so I took the breaker bar and he got it wedged in there, and I just yanked it up and got it loose. So now I'm using a ratchet to get it the rest of the way out. Definitely worked. We'll have to see about how tightening it up goes later. I'm not sure what we're gonna do for the alternator pulley down there, but we'll see. Alright guys, got the power steering pump off, or not the pump, the pulley. This is the old one. New one's in here. This is definitely heavier. This is how AMS packages it. Did a really nice job packaging it. Had to loosen the belt, pull it off of the power steering pump. I'm trying to do the alternator next, see how that goes, figure out a way to do that. That's a 24 down there, so we'll see how it goes. Alright guys, we just got the water pump pulley off, as well as the belt that goes to the alternator. We still need to get the alternator pulley off, so we just loosened it up, pulled the belt off, got the pulley part off. So this is the OEM pulley here, and right here is the aftermarket AMS one. It feels significantly lighter. we'll weigh all these two on a scale. And this is also the overdrive pulley, so it'll spin the water pump a little bit faster than this bigger pulley. Same with superchargers, right? The smaller the pulley, the more PSI you're gonna make. All right, guys, so struggling a little bit with the alternator pulley, so decided to move the crank pulley. Put the car in 5th gear with the e-brake set, and lo and behold, she cracked loose. It kind of sounded like the car was gonna move because how much torque I was putting it under, but it just didn't. Just kind of tugged it and it snapped. So it's a 27mm 3/4 drive. So we have an adapter from our 1/2-inch breaker bar, and I had to get a little more leverage. So I took the jack handle off of our jack and extended it to about here. Got a lot more leverage on it, and it worked beautifully. So we're gonna go ahead and take that off and let you guys know what goes on after that. All right, guys, so we got the pulley puller on the main crank pulley down there. Got all 3 of the little legs on. Have an adjustable wrench in here. Didn't need to pull the radiator this time, but it seems to be working. So this will just pop off, and there's gonna be a key in here as well. Still not sure about the alternator pulley, but we'll get back on that. All right. Pulleys loose in here. Get this main bolt out real quick. All right. Main bolt 27, big washer, and boom. There's the little key with it. This thing's pretty heavy. All right, cool. Crank pulley, and the new one. Feel that, and then feel this.
That's a huge difference. You should weigh them.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got the pulleys here. We don't have the alternator pulley off. I think I might need to do that a different day. Looks like I have to pull the alternator off. I'm not sure if we have the right tools to take that pulley off. Nothing on AMS. Their parts are extremely beautiful. The laser etched logos and everything, and extremely lightweight. So we're gonna go ahead and weigh these pulleys and see the difference. So this one exceeds the weight limit of this scale, so we're gonna have to use a normal scale for that one. But this is the main crank pulley off the Z32. Weighs in at 11.4 pounds. Let's go ahead and weigh the aftermarket AMS Motorsports pulley. Weighs in at about 1 pound and 12.6 ounces. A 10-pound decrease in weight off the rotating assembly. Huge difference. Gonna pick up some power and some throttle response of that. Here's the power steering pulley, about 12.5 ounces. The AMS pulley, 6.1. So that's about half the weight for the power steering pulley. For the water pump pulley, about 11.3 ounces. Put on the overdrive water pump pulley, 3.7. So great weight on these ones, and let's go ahead and put these on. All right, guys, we're gonna install some of these pulleys now. We're gonna miss out on the alternator one today because we don't have the quite the right tools to get it off, but we'll get it eventually. Not a huge deal. Nothing with AMS. The products are beautiful. So we have a key here on the crank pulley down there. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but we gotta line it up with this one here on this pulley. Pretty big size difference because this is the underdrive, but we'll try and get this on there like so. Be a little tricky to line up. I think we just got it first try. Might get a little, I don't know if we use a dead blow or if we should just try and use this bolt, screw it in. Assuming that's lined up. 27mm socket here. Ratchet's a little bit broken, but it's alright. As long as it does its job. Keep on wrenching this thing down in the groove, that key. And so we gotta torque this thing to like a crazy high torque rating too, which will not be fun. It's just going on like butter. All right, so that one's on there. As far as this thing's gonna get it for now, we'll leave that on there. Might just torque that down now, put the other ones on after just so we have room. Actually, it's not gonna matter for the power steering. We'll go ahead and throw that one on. So that one is this pulley. Listen to that, beautiful. It's got the grooves, got the lock nut and the nut, or not the lock nut, lock washer nut. You know what I'm saying? Let's trying to finagle this in there. All right, slides right on like that. Lock washer on there next. Awesome. And get the see where it's worn out and put that side against the washer just to keep it the same as it's been. Put this back on. Both of those are good to get tightened down. Water pump pulley, I took it off with the alternator belt before, but it's also smaller, so I think it's not going to matter now. So this will just slide on like so. It looks pretty good. Yeah, we'll just tighten up this one here. We'll put the extension through this hole again, I'm assuming, same way we did before, probably just like right here. Go ahead and do that now. Where's the extension we used? It's disappeared. Where did it go? Alright, was it this? Sure. Use this extension here in this groove like this and just crank on it. And that'll be good. I think we want about 50 foot-pounds on that. And for the crank pulley, our torque wrench here, torque wrench is set to 150. Ideally, you want to torque it between 159 and 175. So we went 150 and a little past it. But had to bring out the big guns over here for that. I couldn't do it. Alright guys, so just got the belts on. Had to loosen up the adjusters on the alternator and the power steering more. Not really running AC right now. Some issues though is getting the right belt size. So the belt size I grabbed for the power steering that seems to be working is this one right here. It's 890 millimeters long. It's also good to note it's a 4-rib belt now instead of the factory 3. And the longer belt for the alternator and water pump, I'm using this 940 millimeter long belt. It is extremely tight and it's basically bottomed out as far as the adjustment goes. So I would go up to like a 950. I tried 980 and it was way too big. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up the adjustments on those and throw the clutch pin on. I'll leave the shroud off for now, make sure everything works right. It's easier to adjust things with the shroud off, and we'll see how it goes. Alright guys, got the clutch pin back on and the hose and the clamp. So now I'm going to take it off the blocks, check the coolant level because I've definitely spilled some, fill it up with some distilled water, and crank it over and see what happens. Car's back on the ground, the coolant's been checked. I'm going to try and start it up now, see what happens. Guys, no squeaks or nothing. She's good. Alright, we're gonna let her warm up and we will do some revs, see how responsive she is. Just gonna see what happens here at the revs. Looks healthy.